Hi folks, Andy here for Virtual Photo Club. At the point of recording this, we are currently in the midst of the coronavirus epidemic, or COVID-19, and it's quite concerning times for a lot of us. A lot of us are either being asked to social distance, to self-isolate. This could be for 7 or 14 days or even longer if we're considered more at risk, or depending on where you are in the world, and we do have an international club. It's quite possible that you're in a country that is in full lockdown. So it is a little bit scary, and obviously we have a lot of members in the group, nearly 9,000, again at the point of recording this. And so I just wanted to try and address some of the concerns and give some suggestions around what you can do to get through this difficult time, particularly if you're having to isolate yourself a lot more than you normally would do. It can be quite difficult for people just to almost sort of shut off the social interaction aspect of your life. So hopefully a few ideas and tips here that might help you out a little bit. Now, before I continue, I'm going to prefix this with the news that's coming out, and the suggestions and guidelines are changing daily. So when I'm talking about it potentially being okay to get outside, go for a walk in the park or so on, that is part of the social distancing guidelines that we currently have. However, again, international group, everyone is at a sort of different stage of where this virus is at. So this is entirely dependent, and I entirely suggest, please, that you follow your own government advice at the time you're watching this for the region that you are in. If they are saying don't go outside, then please do observe that. If they're saying it's okay to go outside, then it's entirely up to yourself what you want to do, but follow the advice. Certainly at this point for myself here in the UK, we are not in a full lockdown, so we can still go outside as long as we keep a reasonable distance from other people. However, there's a growing suggestion that we just simply don't go outside at all if possible. Okay, so that's that bit done. Let's move on to some of the ideas that can help get you through this time. Now, these are just some suggestions that can help keep your focus on your photography, help keep you doing something productive, and also just to help keep your interest going as well. So it may well be that you are used to doing a lot of outdoor shooting, working with a lot of models or young clients, and obviously that's not necessarily going to be an option at the moment. So this should give you some ideas just to keep things, keep the motivation there, if you like, in the photography, keep the interest, keeping that going. So one of the first up suggestions is to simply catch up. This could be a couple of different things. So for example, catch up on your editing. Now this is a prime one. If you're anything like me at all, your client work absolutely gets done. Anything that has a time scale on it, you're absolutely on top of. However, the stuff that you take for your own personal interest, maybe it's just photos from a family day out or a trip to the zoo that you just took for your own amusement, for your own, not even necessarily your own portfolio, but just because you were there and you were taking pictures. I have a whole bunch of pictures like that I have not got around to. And so if I do have a bit of extra time for myself, this might be a great time to get through that backlog. What it does mean is that you can get through everything that you have outstanding. You can, when things settle down a little bit, you can come back to things, no queue, nothing hanging over your head, and you can start with a clean slate when it comes to your workload in terms of your photos. Now, catching up could also be your YouTube watching, or if you have a podcast that you particularly enjoy that gives you tips, tricks, or just general chat around photography. Maybe if you've dropped behind a few episodes, now is a great time to catch up. And potentially, if unlike me, you can actually multitask, you can also obviously listen to that while you're doing other things as well. You could combine your podcasts with your editing. From just a quick note, Virtual Photo Club, I am looking at doing some sort of podcast that may or may not be of interest, so stay tuned on updates on that one. Now, it's a good time to catch up on your gear as well. It could be a great time just to get rid of that little dust spot on your sensor that's been annoying you, and just basically wipe off your lenses, any little rain stains that have come on the end of your lens. Great time to get those cleaned off. If your monitor needs color calibration, you can get that done now, or if the printer has been consistently given that little bit of a smudge each time you're printing for contracts or for any paperwork, again, great opportunity just to get that clean. Now, once you've got that backlog cleared and that weight is off your shoulders, you can absolutely move on to something new, or even do a bit of practicing on something you've been meaning to get back to. Again, there's a range of things that this can cover, so it could be camera techniques, like maybe getting into back button focus or in-camera movement, having a little bit of a play around with these things. It could be different styles, like composite work or trying your hand at fine art. Or it could even be on the post side of things as well, so learning a bit more along the Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever editing options that you're going for. And something you may well find useful along these lines is a couple of beginner level video workshops we have available on the Virtual Photo Club site at virtualphotoclub.net. As it stands at the moment, we currently have a Shooting the Moon, an introduction to light painting, and an introduction to smoke photography. Do excuse the videos, they were early work and they're not the best, but the intention's there and it's still a few good tutorials as well. Now, this extra downtime isn't all allocated just for education or learning new things. There's absolutely nothing wrong with just continuing to shoot as potentially you normally would do anyway. There is plenty in and around the house that you can take photos of. Have a little bit of a play as well, try some different things, different angles of things that you would maybe normally not really pay that much attention to. House plans can be great things, as well as the kids' toys if you happen to have any, or ornaments, anything along those kinds of lines. Try hand at some still life images, get a fruit bowl together and take a few photos of that. There's lots of different things that you can try just to keep your camera in your hands. Again, just keep practicing, keep the interest going as well. And just to demonstrate that, some of the members from our website community group have been very kind in giving some of their images that you'll see here. And this is just to demonstrate some of the things that you can do around the house, potentially with or without some extra training, or a little bit of extra practice, but it just gives a little bit of inspiration just to different things that you can try in the house as well. Now, depending on the government guidelines in your area, you may not even just be restricted to the four walls of your house. You can potentially still get out to, get out on the streets. Assume there's not too many people around and you're doing the social distancing thing. Get in the streets, do a bit of architecture, do a bit of street photography. You can get out to a large park area and just take some nature photos, or even just in your own garden if that's an option for you as well. Insects, flowers, plants, whatever you happen to have in your garden can make for interesting photo subjects as well. Okay, so there's plenty of opportunity that you can still keep taking the photos as you go. If you have kids in the house and you're potentially looking at being quite enclosed with them for a fair amount of time, let's be honest, that is going to get a little bit difficult as the kids need to burn off a lot of energy. It's great to have them outdoors, running around and so on. You may not have that opportunity. So this is a great time to get them involved in what you do. So give them the camera, let them take some pictures, let them play around with editing, depending on what you can do yourself. Even if it's just really basic, depending on how old they are, just let them play around. Say, take some photos, do a little bit of editing, let them take pictures of you, show them some of the different things that you can do. Some of the fun stuff like light painting, for example, is great for younger kids, that you can show different patterns with a couple of little LED bulbs or a torch or something along those lines. You can have a lot of fun with them. So that can certainly fill up at least a couple of days getting the kids involved, and it helps with bonding as well. It helps bring you just a little bit closer as a family, which is always a bonus. One thing you can do as an output of getting the kids involved is start a little scrapbook, either in paper or digitally. And there's plenty of sites online that can help you do that, and I will have a link in the blog to a particularly good one, which is scrapbookcampus.com. A lot of free advice and support in there just to how to get that started, and there is some membership options there as well. So well worth a look and an idea of something just to keep putting the time in. Okay. Now, so far that all pretty much applies to photography as a hobby and just keeping your personal interest going. But what if you're in business? Now, this is having a big impact on the photography industry as a whole. Obviously, a lot of cancellations, and we can't be close to people. So, weddings, individual shoots, pretty much every session at the moment is being cancelled. Again, depending on where you are and what the government advice is in relation to that. As such, I can't go into too much on the business side specifically. Hopefully, you've got a little bit of a nest egg saved up. And again, depending on which country you're in, you may well be getting a little bit of support from the government financially just to kind of see you through these weeks or months, depending on however long this happens to take to get past this. Okay, so can't really go into much detail on that side of it, but again, just with the extra time that you will have, there is plenty that you can be doing on the business front as well. So if you're in business or even just looking to start up in business, this could be a good opportunity for the amount of extra time that you're potentially going to have. If you're just starting out, for example, all of the research that goes into starting up a business. How do you register? What do you need to submit? Does it need to go through certain ways? What kind of taxes do you need to think about? How do you put yourself out there? How do you get clients? All this kind of stuff. It's not very exciting, I'm afraid, but it is absolutely key essential parts to setting up in business for photography or anything else realistically. You can look to set up your website or your social pages, or if they're already set up, do they need a bit of a refresh? When was the last time you updated them? Are they looking a little bit out of date? Have you not engaged with your pages for a little while? Now's a good time to get that involved. If you are just starting up, I will always take the opportunity to suggest something a little bit more environmentally friendly. If you are setting up a website, you can go to your basic sort of drag and drop site builders like Wix, for example. There's other ones that are more dedicated to photography, such as Pixieset are now doing website building, which is excellent. Personally, if you've got the time and you're willing and able, I would absolutely recommend going for a full WordPress website. It gives you a lot of flexibility and you essentially have full control over how your site looks and all the extra little plugins and added extras you can put into that. If you are going to go down that route, again, to be environmentally friendly, look at green hosting. Okay, quick sidetrack, I'm going to admit it. Internet as a whole and all the websites across the world put out a massive amount of energy usage and CO2 and so on. So have a look at either eco hosting in the UK or Green Geeks in the US, and I'm sure there's plenty of other ones around there as well. And they do a lot of carbon offsetting and planting trees for the amount of energy they use and low energy usage and so on and so forth. So if you are going WordPress, absolutely do have a look into that side of things. Even if it is a very basic website of just having a front end page, having some sample images and a way for potential clients to get in touch with you. Something like that. Even that can take a bit of time if you're putting a lot of effort into it or even just doing a lot of research, but you've got the time, so make the most of it and improve that online presence. Another thing you can be doing during this time is reaching out to your existing clients if you have them and suppliers as well. So obviously we're all in a very uncertain situation at the moment, so I'm pretty sure any supplier or client would absolutely appreciate just even a quick email just to check in with them, see how they're doing, see how they're getting on. Obviously, if you have anything booked over the next month or so, again, be proactive, get in touch with them, either let them know that the sessions are going to need to be rescheduled or cancelled, or ask what they're doing with their session. If it's a wedding, for example, unfortunately, again, some weddings are having to be cancelled. So take that step, link in with your clients just now, your suppliers, and just build that relationship with them a little bit as well. Okay, I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Anything that's helpful during this time, it's got to be a bonus. And if you get really bored, I suppose you can always update your books as well. Again, if you're anything like myself, I have the best of intention of making sure my books are kept up to date every week. What I tend to do, however, actually happens is every sort of 3 months or so, oh yeah, I meant to do that. And then you end up with this massive backlog of trying to backdate, going through your receipts, thinking where you've travelled, how far it was on Google Maps, trying to work it all out is a bit of a nightmare. It takes a lot longer than it really should, so just keep that up to date as you're going. If you don't already have bookkeeping set up, again, if you're just starting out, if you're looking for sort of well-established software, have a look at the likes of QuickBooks. However, again, if you're doing a budget, there are also free options available through the likes of Wave and Zip Books as well. It's also another one worth checking out. Again, these links will be in the written blog if you're having a look on the website. Okay. Now, hopefully that gives you a good few ideas about keeping your photography interest going. However, potentially we are going to have a lot of isolated time, and not everything has to be about photography. If you find yourself just in a bit of a rut with it, or just utterly fed up, you've taken pictures of all the plants in your houses and every possible angle you can think of, there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting the camera down and stepping away from it a little bit. Even if it's just for a couple of days or a week at a time, take the break. Okay, when it all comes down to it, look after yourself. Whatever is right for you is the best thing for you. Try something new, learn a language, learn an instrument that you've been meaning to. I've had a guitar in my house for a number of years, more than I'd care to admit, to be honest. I've never quite learned. This might be time to give it a bash. Catch up on TV and movies, get yourself back to the Netflix list. Again, like myself, my Netflix list continuously gets bigger. I add more to it than I have time to watch. So absolutely, there's plenty of entertainment there ready for you. If you prefer, pick up a new book. One I will personally recommend is called Friends in High Places, which is available from Amazon. And again, I'll add a link into the blog as well. So anything at all that you personally have an interest in that you think is going to help you relax, focus, just get through the whole situation. Okay, you do you. Now, if you managed to listen to me ramble on for this full video, thank you very much. Just to wrap things up, guys, this isn't about you having to do this alone, okay? We have a fantastic group of about 9,000 members at the time of filming this. It's a great community, very supportive, very helpful. So make sure you're getting yourself involved. Whether you're posting your pictures, whether it's old ones, new ones, doesn't make a difference. Post your images, ask for feedback, try and build on it from there. Just join in, give your feedback into other people and their photos, have a discussion around a photography topic. There's lots of things that we can be doing. We are here to support each other, okay? Now, I really do hope that this has given you a bit of help, a bit of support, or even just a little bit of direction and something to keep you busy. If you want to look a little bit beyond the group as well, also come and check out the website. It's still fairly new, but we are building on it. It is virtualphotoclub.net, and I'd love to see you joining up there, okay? So I'm just going to finish up there by saying stay safe, stay indoors if that's what you're being recommended. We will get through this together, and let's just keep carrying on in the wonderful community group that we have. We will get through this. Things will get back to normal. And chances are we will have some fantastic new photos or new skills by the end of it all. Okay. Thanks very much. Speak to you soon. Bye.